Welcome back to the Deep Dive. We're looking today at a really unsettling script you shared. It's called The Vacuum Lab, Lyudmila's 66-year nightmare.
Yes, it's from episode 3 of something called the Warmth Podcast.
And that opening scene,
Wow.
it sets the stage immediately. You know, trapped in this freezing KGB lab, the hissing sound, labored breath.
And then you see something that's been preserved for decades, and, well, it opens its eyes. Chilling stuff.
Absolutely. It feels pulled straight from a nightmare. So our mission today really is to unpack this.
Exactly. We need to piece together this story of Lyudmila Dyatlova and this entity. What is it? How did it spread?
And what was this desperate gamble to stop it? What does it tell us about containment, maybe, and symbiosis?
And the cost, right? The cost of things going wrong. The script throws us right in. Emma, she's the protagonist, logging her entry 3.1 scene AM.
Yeah, into the thermal anomaly containment lab. You really get that atmosphere, the vacuum chamber hiss, dripping water.
Her own breathing, heavy,
Yeah.
and then bam, the revelation. Lyudmila Dyatlova.
Alive, after 66 years. Preserved, okay, but half fused with something else. That's intense.
And then she speaks, after all that time.
Those first words. 2, warm, you woke, us. Just incredibly creepy, that word, us.
Right. Straight away, it hints at, like, a shared mind, a collective consciousness. It's not just Lyudmila talking.
So how did this happen, this fusion, as the script calls it? What did the KGB find initially?
Well, Lyudmila calls herself Subject Zero, apparently picked up after something referred to as the mountain, and she's been kept there, in that chamber. The script mentions they were force-feeding her and the entity liquid nitrogen.
Just to keep them frozen.
Pretty much. A horrifying existence, but it gets darker.
That's
The KGB weren't just storing them, they were experimenting. Lyudmila talks about this ritual. Every full moon, they'd pump heat into the chamber. Why? To make us dance. Her words.
Dance. That's grotesque. It sounds less like science and more like some kind of perverse performance.
It's deeply disturbing. And the official records from 1963, they kind of back this up, but clinically.
What did they say?
Notes about her right lung crystallizing at -10 Celsius, which is wild in itself.
-10.
Yeah. But the kicker is how they described the entity's plasma, weaving through her tissue like roots.
Like roots.
And they called it remarkable symbiosis. Not parasite, not infection. Symbiosis. It was becoming part of her.
Okay, so if it's integrating like that and clearly dangerous, why not just terminate it? Destroy the entity?
Emma asks that exact question. Lyudmila's answer is pretty blunt. They tried. Back in 79, opened the chamber. The entity melted 3 scientists, just melted them.
Because God.
And maybe the most terrifying part, it started speaking party slogans.
It learned slogans, so it's adapting, mimicking. That's not just a biological threat. It's intelligent in a horrifying way.
Precisely. It shows this chilling adaptability. It's not just raw power. It's evolving.
Okay, this is where things really seem to escalate, right?
Yeah.
Because this thing isn't just in the lab.
No. And this is the gut punch. Lyudmila explains the lab isn't isolated.
How so?
It's connected to the city's steam tunnels. And, wait for it, a nuclear heating plant.
A nuclear plant. Seriously. So it has access to potentially huge amounts of energy.
And a network. Emma looks at a map on her phone, sees these heat signatures.
And realizes, oh no.
Yeah, it's not contained. It's been spreading underneath downtown, through old abandoned lines, an invisible network.
For how long?
Decades. Lyudmila says it's been feeding through this network for decades.
Feeding? Feeding on what?
Heat sources. Hospitals, she says. Crematoriums. Even children's fever wards.
That's monstrous. It's like a parasite woven into the fabric of the city itself.
It completely redefines containment, doesn't it? The horror isn't just the monster, it's how easily it used the systems, our systems, against us.
Hiding in plain sight, essentially.
Exactly. And then there's this detail about Emma herself. She brought tapes with her.
Right, like recordings or data?
Seems like it. And Lyudmila says these tapes, they actually helped the entity somehow.
Helped it. How?
The script doesn't spell it out, but it implies the entity can exploit new inputs, new information, new connections.
And then the proof. The really chilling proof of its awareness.
Yeah. The voice. From Emma's phone.
Saying what?
In Russian, apparently. Thanks, Lisa, for dinner.
Lisa. It knows her name. Or a version of it. And it's thanking her for the tapes. Or for her presence.
It's incredibly unsettling. It shows it's not just physical. It's tapped into communications. It's aware. It's listening.
Okay, so the entity is vast, spreading, intelligent. What can they possibly do? What's Lyudmila's plan?
It's desperate, a final act. She tells Emma there's a main valve behind her.
A valve for what?
Liquid nitrogen. She wants Emma to open it, flood the tunnels.
Well, wait, if she's in the chamber, connected to all this, flooding the tunnels would.
Freeze her solid.
Yeah.
Instantly. Emma points this out, horrified.
And Lyudmila.
She knows. She accepts it. There's this moment described as a heartbreaking, sobbing laugh.
Oh, man.
She says she's been a battery for 24,090 days. That's the 66 years. And now she says, let me be a weapon. Choosing that fate. It's powerful and tragic.
To turn herself from fuel into the means of destruction.
And the entity knows. It senses the betrayal. Starts screeching, traitor, betrayer.
The whole place starts shaking.
Pipes rattling violently. Lyudmila screams at Emma to do it. Now, Emma, while I hold...
She's holding it back.
Trying to. Then you hear glass shattering, the entity roaring. It's chaos.
So Emma does it. She opens the valve.
Yes. The tunnels flood with nitrogen. And Lyudmila.
She shatters.
Like ice. Her last words are apparently a whisper. Thank you, sister.
Sister. Wow, so the sacrifice works. The entity is stopped.
Yeah.
Frozen.
You'd hope so, right, after all that. But no, this is where the real twist lands.
Oh.
The entity's voice crackles through Emma's radio. Weak, maybe, but filled with rage.
What does it say?
You're froze. Our body, but we have thousands. Downtown.
Thousands of what? Bodies? Manifestations.
It implies it's not a single being anymore. It's distributed. And then Emma's phone buzzes.
A news alert.
Yeah. An unexplained heat wave hitting downtown. Temperatures jumping to 45 Celsius.
45. That's impossible heat.
And hospitals are reporting patients spontaneously combusting.
Oh my God. So it wasn't destroyed. It just evacuated into the city through the network.
It seems so. He used the freezing attempt as cover, maybe. Or trigger. Emma realizes the entity is escaping the lab now, heading into the city. The hunter is now the hunted.
She's trapped.
Worse. The vacuum chamber door, Lyudmila's chamber, starts creaking open behind her.
No.
And then a child's whisper. Anna's voice, maybe, from the tapes. Or something else.
What does it say?
Hide and seek, Emma. We're coming uptown.
Oh, that's horrifying.
And then you just hear the sound of distant screams from downtown.
Yeah.
End scene. Leaves you completely cold.
Absolutely chilling. So, thinking about this,
Right.
what does it really say? A horror that doesn't just break down the door, but seeps into the city's veins.
Right. It's a narrative about containment failing spectacularly, about symbiosis turning monstrous, and this terrifying idea that what you lock away might not just sit there. It might learn, adapt, and spread in ways you never imagined.
Using the very infrastructure of the city against itself.
Yeah.
The steam tunnels, the heating plants, things meant for comfort become pathways for horror.
It really makes you wonder, doesn't it? In our world, so interconnected by complex systems, power grids, communication networks, the internet, what kind of threats could emerge if they learn to hijack those systems? Not just break out, but become part of the system, hiding within the complexity.
What if the thing you're trying to contain evolves to become indistinguishable from the network itself?
That's
a thought that will stick with you, a truly terrifying possibility.